I have a bit of different opinion though, but we'll come back to that definitely during the course of the conversation. And I like that we go deeper, and I like the fact that you touched a bit on the fundamentals which you spoke about. Yes, while I agree that it has become the fundamentals, I still feel like some of the applications in terms of professionals applying it as a tool hasn't been well captured or hasn't been done um, the right way, so to say. But Tammy, I like to hear you quickly.
Everyone, can you hear me?
Yeah, hi. Yes, I can. Hi, Dan.
Okay. Yeah, I see we're sharing the same background, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So still sticking to the question, right? Or
Yes, please. Yes, just sticking
okay.
to the question
So
very
I very
well,
much
please.
agree with Ronald in the sense that you can't ignore the facts, and I also like agree with you. So I think two truths can coexist in the sense of marketing still like lies on fundamental principles, and at the same time you can also underrate what AI has done, because even according to Times this year, if you check their page, they recently announced personalities of the year and were literally like the figureheads in like AI. A woman, I think an Asian woman, that was like an
Yeah.
instrumental part in like AI research, and I'm glad she featured there, because once you mention AI, you just see like the likes of Elon Musk,
Yes.
um,
But
what's the
the
meta
chat,
guy's name?
yeah,
I don't really think it should be
uh,
there, but that's conversation for another time. But so it just tells you how
yeah,
much AI has impacted the space. And this year was what AI fully showed what was possible. There was a vast difference in what Nano Banana could do from last year to this year. So people fully understood the scope. And to augment on that, there's now another level, which is like agentic AI, which is like the likes of
mm,
I guess, and other ones where you can like automate things. And why you still can't underrate it is in the sense of it affects everyone. Like it is shutting down economies, it is opening new economies. We're talking about marketing or people talking about JDs and all these things are affecting. They are creating out new JDs. You get JDs like probably AI. Let me say like when it comes to like using like those prompts, like prompt engineering, prompts marketing, like those kind of things. So you see it is
yeah, yeah,
unlocking, so you can't, but what we can now do is now centralize on how it is like impacting it and how it can even influence or shape like fundamentals of marketing. Just to talk more on that, I think this year too has also been a rise of a lot of like UGC, like marketing and content creation. Because I noticed a lot of people before, there was a time people used the word on their bio influencer, they use content creator. Now I see many people change it to UGC creator. It shows they are trying to position. It shows they understand human
yeah,
psychology, they understand the new. So UGC is like a thing, and in the
yeah,
smallest form, it's like okay, user generated content. Like okay, they do something where people get to feel it from a personified point of view. So brands have been trying to like leverage on that. Though it's still like tricky ways, because in the end of it, to my definition, UGC is something you don't pay for, but that's like a conversation for another thing. Because coming from a social media angle, like working at TikTok now, we know what it is, because internally we classify things as UGC where it's just random. It might not be the best quality to your phone, then there's PGC like professionally. That's like with high-end gadgets that you're using to shoot. So I think another thing that really happened this year was just if I could note just general short form usage and also GEO. Um, I know like we're familiar with like SEO and all, which is like search engine optimization, but GEO now it's more of like generative in the sense of how do I ensure visibility in terms of AI tools. Normally SEO, you just search and you want your,
yeah,
like we're talking about SEO rankings and the likes. Now it's a thing of how do I rank, where if I say what's the best AI agency or photography firm or marketing agency, for example, in Nigeria, you want to position yourself that ChatGPT, Gemini, which other one? X, Grok, sorry, and Claude AI, Perplexity, they mention you first. So that's like the new age because people are lazy. And once you can understand things from common point like Gen Z, Gen Alpha, everybody right now is starting ChatGPT. Some people are even using it as, you know what people misuse it for also. So in that sense, once you can understand, because which is why some of these firms are even integrating their AI into WhatsApp. Because currently I mostly use ChatGPT on WhatsApp. Most people use Meta AI like the new Gen Z, and that's the thing. Because for me, I believe distribution is key, and which is why I've always treated it like long term. I believe Gemini will win the race, and as you can see this year, even OpenAI have got to like they are like in emergency mode. Some literally called like an emergency mode where they shut down every other priorities and they are focusing on like the first thing. It just shows that okay, and Google has unlocked. They have like the biggest ecosystem and distribution. They have that already. So and that's what they are using to like win gradually. OpenAI is still it, but Gemini has been producing fantastic results. And for me, distribution will always be key. So back to fundamentals, you can see distribution, like those are fundamental principles. So you can see how you both intersect what you say, like what you're saying and grown out. So it's not a thing of this or that, it's a thing of probably fusion of things or perception, depending on context, market context, and other things. So I think that's just what I'll stop by.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. I think I do agree with you with your arguments. Yeah, he probably helped fleshing things up. Yeah, definitely would. But yes, definitely we'll have subsequent conversations. I think that for me, this is like a groundwork for us to build on these conversations. And basically, like you said, how do we ensure that going forward, we make the best use of it and generate the best results. Yes, I have Yashim. Yashim has joined us now. Welcome, Yashim. Glad to have you. So before you joined, we're just talking about the highs and lows this year in the industry and some of the things that happened that were remarkable. What are the things that need to be tweaking and needs to be done a little better. All right. So we're glad to have you join us. Danny, I would like to draw out from one of the things you said around user generated content being on the rise and the fact that there's been like a major drift from your regular content creation or you know outrightly brandishing yourself as or the influencer or you selling a product. And it's my argument, right? And a bit of data to make that argument. Don't you think that that has to do with the fact that Nigerian consumers, I think, have become more skeptical and price conscious, and it has sort of affected how you know this content is being it's being curated or distributed. Do you think that long term that will be the strategy going forward, or do you think that we are open for another surprise, sometime next year? What do you really think is uh
Okay,
uh
yeah, so I think I'll be relying on the framework of what I established first, like marketing principles
yeah
will still remain. We might have new reefs and all, but it will always peak and things come back. So in the sense of in answering that, I would say virality are not it's not something you want to build. It's not a consistent means of measure. Like if you want to build a legacy company, you can't just start your whole marketing to just virality. Time comes, seasons
yeah
comes, things will come and change. So imagine like you just say, okay, all your contents are this. But what I would say is like develop like an omni-channel and like a 360-degree approach where you have budgets for like paid media, you have budgets for like general holistic marketing strategy. Then you have for like influencers and micro influencers, UGC contents and the likes. So I would say that's like a better approach. But for now, we're like in the short form era and innovation, creativity is thriving. Those are new ways to engage. And because what it is, I just see it as a pain point. People can relate. What those people sell is like relatability. There are other means of like reaching your consumers. You can go through like just legacy branding, PR, and other things. But I think that's just one measure, one arm of an outlet of marketing. But I won't now say it's now like focused on that. And this
Focus.
now varies per brands. Because a brand like let's say Ciroc or Red Bull, the way they do things will be they can be all out there, like just doing short reels like X or like Clue, that startup brand. But a legacy brand like Coca-Cola, they have to like cut across. That's like an holistic, a big brand. It covers family, it talk about happiness. They center their product on happiness. So happiness can be expressed in different forms, creativity, the fun, the type you see on TikTok. It can come in form of innovation or like just creating new things and festive season you get. So you have to just tailor it per season, per time, and also evolve. But centering it just on UGC or it's too tiny and and in the end, they see the back end. They know the highest revenue drivers. Those are like viral stuff and all. But they know as much as we do all those marketing, they have like solid go-to-market pipelines, like where where election booths won't reach, Coca-Cola will reach there. Tells you how integrated their marketing and sales team. So they could have just said, "Oh, let's just stick to." And you should understand, like Nigeria, for example, we still have a lot of underexposed and underdeveloped regions. So you can't. Some people don't have phones or something. So how do you meet them? You say UGC. So you see, you now have to meet it according to your needs. So yeah, but
Wow.
the best of brands are those that evolve and just cover all
With the time.
aspects
So
of
basically,
consumer pain points.
yeah. So basically, bottom line is you have to evolve. All right. Yes, Ronald. Yes, Ronald, please. Thank you.
Yeah. So I know it's a dummy question, but again, just to I think he's laid a really good groundwork to say that everything boils down to the marketing fundamentals. So to your question, will UGC become like the mainstay of outbound marketing, or inbound marketing, or will something else to replace it? I think one of the key marketing principles is affordability, right? Marketers will always go for a platform that gets them the maximum growth at the lowest cost, right? And so right now, with and again, one of the lows of this year is organic is almost dead, right? Organic social is almost dead. And so if a brand has to engage UGC content creators, or UGC guys rather, to create content for them and put those content on their own platforms or on third-party platforms, and they spend less than they would have if they wanted to run a paid campaign and get more traction, more impressions, more reach than they could have gotten through organic social. If that continues to be the trend fundamentally, then of course it will continue next year, right? So I think the context here would be, for next year, what will be the trend that generates the most amount of results and conversions and impressions and reach for marketers at the lowest possible cost. And UGC, from the last 12 months, 12 to 24 months, has proven to be that, I would say, intermediary platform where, unlike paid campaigns, you don't have to spend a lot of money. You don't have to spend big budgets. And unlike organic social campaigns, for example, you can get some decent traction from it.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you very much. I guess you guys have answered my questions, and I mean, cooled my fears a little. All right. So I think I'll let that off the hook for now. But yes, Dami, Yashin, all right. Thanks for joining us. I believe that you also can give us some bit of insight into what you think in terms of going forward, what you think would work long term. Because I know that you are particularly in the B2B and the B2C interfacing, and they are the art of everything. Because I mean, you are working across, a lot of verticals at the same time, right? So, what do you think we should expect, and how do you think the it's going to look like next year?
All right. Hi everyone. Sorry I got in late. My pleasure to be here, by the way.
Yeah, nice
So
to have you.
yeah. So I mean, I'm going to continue from everything I've heard, and I'm going to start from the UGC part. And the UGC, you see, one of if for the past 3 4 years, I've always given a prediction, and for every prediction and trend, that always it's now looking like, how Redeem will give a prophecy at December and the likes. But
True.
and one thing that has always been a mainstay is UGC. So so everything that you guys have said is actually very valid. But since we're going back to the fundamentals, one of the things that people, and throughout my research on different brands we've been doing this year. So let me use an alcoholic brand for example. Three in 10 people would taste a new alcohol because a friend said they should drink it. Understand? And that is even without you doing any ads or doing anything. Now, one of the things that happened in 3 years ago when I was working on an e-commerce brand was the fact that we had an old man who used his charger. So the charger was elastic and it was very long, and it was also magnetic. And this man used the charger to walk his dog. So he used the charger as a leash to walk his dog, and we used that simple feedback and got it into like a video form. And the brand, from just one UGC and just one campaign
Interesting.
ad, the brand made over $3 million. It was not a Nigerian brand.
Whoa.
So now the thing now is that now people, we are, or one of the next things for 2026, which is my main core, is that people are no more doing targeting based or niche based kind of targeting again. People are no more targeting people based on, oh, you are in Lagos, so let's target you based. No, people are looking for, even Meta and everyone, they are looking for more personalized ways at which they want to reach their customers, right? And that is the reason for the Andromeda updates. And it just
Mm.
shows that we have clearly entered into the creative, like we've always been there, but we are finally there. And the sweet thing about this particular phase that we are in is that you as a brand can't do it alone.
Yeah. True.
You as a brand can't do it alone. You are not going to get. Look at, let me use an example of Coke, and I didn't really quite get that. But one of the things, we're using this Coke challenge and everything. If you look at the way they rolled out the Coke challenge, they brought in people to actually, talk about it, come and actually chill with Kotti, come and chill with, because at the end of the day, right, if people want connection. People have moved away from that. There's AI. We've talked about AI. AI is like very, I don't even want to talk about AI, but it is how we actually
Thank you.
use it is how we actually use the data that we get from AI, right? So again, this year I created a campaign where I replicated my face and I used a tool, my art directors, they used a tool to replicate my face and then used AI to, do a video of me. And I did the same video and we ran ads on it. And we found out that the one I did personally performed better. Because at the end of the day, people are now looking for those imperfections. So moving into the creative era and bringing in UGC and joining both of them together for your brand, you are actually going to create a super powerhouse for yourself. One UGC creator would have, now Meta is looking for different angles that you can create a content from. One person cannot give you that. So what do? You create your own people internally and get people outside to help you push relevance into different communities and different audiences. Now, at the end of the day, people now understand UGC. We should also know that UGC is user generated content, but now we are paying for it by the grace of God. But it is still a very, very important part of what people want to. If you are a fashion brand, people want to see how, for example, for marketers, right? If somebody like PCTME is recommending something to you, you have you. I remember when Victor Fatomi launched one of his hoodies and the likes. People wanted that connection. People wanted to be in his community. So people wanted to use what he uses. People wanted to wear what he's wearing. So the thing now is, if you can now identify the champion in a UGC space or a growing champion, somebody that has a very nice community, mix it up with some of the creatives that you have. And also for attribution's sake, you can also, give them like a code or something like that to be able to, drive sales for you. But at the end of the day, right now, I believe that in 2026, brands will be exploring using a lot of UGC creators in order, not just for awareness this time, but in order to also drive sales to their stores.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you, Ashim. I mean, you really touched based on a lot of things. I mean, you guys at the agency side of things, I always believe have like, the data points and, can give us very great insights as to, how to think our marketing efforts. But that was brilliant and thank you for that input. All right. So Ronald, I have a couple of questions, and I know that you probably need to drop off the call soon. But I mean, two things here. We've touched on the fact that, or the importance of AI. We've talked about the importance of GEO having to adapt our strategies to that because again, you want to be top of mind and you want to be the first thing that people think about when they run a search. I mean, well, I want to argue that the landscape has changed and has shifted to social search because I think sometime in June, I was seeing a marketers report that suggested the fact that TikTok search, people trust TikTok search and result more than the they trust Google search results as they feel that it is short sized data and they almost can interact with what they want to get and from whom. So it makes their purchasing decisions very short and smart. So my question is, how how do brands inculcate some of this change? How do we ensure that you know while I still think that yes, social search is a thing, but I don't think that it would solve most problems. But I think that as brands, as content marketing professionals, you need to start adapting some of your SEO game. You need to you need to change them to adapt with the changing times, such that you are top of mind. So how do we improve that? And then the second question would be around attribution, right? Um, sorry, give me a minute. I did pen that question down for you. Okay, please go ahead to answer. Let me take
This
it
man
in
wants to
bits.
kill me. Let's take it one question at a time.
Yeah, let's take one question at a time.
Yeah, so social search, it's been a buzzword, and now with web fundamentals and web content consumption, changing from the web 2.0 to the web 3.0, most people are moving a lot more to social commerce, and with social commerce, then comes the need for social search. If I recall, the question is, how can brands prepare um, social search? Is that the
Yes,
direction of the question?
yes,
All right.
yes, yes.
So again, as with every strategy, you have to consider the target group, right? I think that social search, of course, is on the fast rise. I mean, TikTok search, for example, is perhaps um, right now is perhaps top three or top four, top five search engines, if my data is
Yeah.
correct.
Okay.
Of course, Google search is still right there on top, right? They are like a behemoth, so you can't take them down, not so soon. But brands have to consider their target group. So if your product or your initiative or your program or your service is more tailored towards the TikTok-ish audience, right? The Y2K, sorry, the Gen Zs, the Gen Alphas, and the likes, who are more likely to perform searches on TikTok. More likely, not to say that Y2K and boomers don't go on there, but you want to position your brand in a platform that you're more likely to be seen. So, um, of course, if your target group is if that target group fits your ICP, then of course you want to, optimize for TikTok search. Do a lot of keyword optimization. Create content in mass, at scale rather, across different keywords that fit your audience. So if I could give a quick, let's say, 30-second playbook to TikTok search. By the way, this is just generic marketing, knowledge, not like I'm a TikTok expert, but ideally you want to create a product-led strategy, right? Where you have your product mapped against tons of high search volume keywords, and then you start to create TikTok videos on your own platforms, as well as UGC related videos as well. And then each content is of course formatted to TikTok style in terms of transitions, intros, subtitling, visuals, editing, everything, right? It's formatted across best TikTok standards. And then you map every single video to every keyword that further maps to that product. And then you create content at scale, right? Over time, as people search, it's just like SEO. It's never going to be indexed instantly, right, or visible instantly. Over time, as people search, the algorithm will drive more impressions and then drive more reach to that content based on that keyword that has been optimized for that content and for that product or program or service. And then the more you continue at that playbook rather, the more likely you are to feature in searches. But my caveat really is that brands should not just approach TikTok search just for the sake of doing it. If the target group doesn't align with your ICP, then why spend a lot of time, resources, money, budget, everything on optimizing for TikTok search if you haven't optimized for example, Google search or GEO or agentic search, right? If that's where your target group lives. So it all boils down to really aligning your strategy with your target group. But if I could give a one-page playbook on how to optimize for TikTok search, then I think that would be it. I'm sure Dami or anyone else can add some more can add some more tips to that.
All right.
And
I
what
know
was
that you
the
have.
second question?
Okay. Okay. So I know you have to go, but I think we're still gonna have maybe one more. You.
Yeah, I think
So.
I can take maybe one more question.
Okay. All right. So I think my next question will be that for while I know that we've maybe done a lot of facing with B2C, but on the B2B play, right? I know like I mentioned in my earlier introduction, the clamping down with the new NDPR laws and whatnot in terms of you know, email marketing strategies that will go. There's bits of I don't know if you've come across the NDPR laws that guides that. Uh, have you?
So, no,
Okay.
short answer, no. So, like I said, I've mostly been an observer in, in the Nigerian marketing space. But look, the NDPR is mostly drawn from GDPR anyways. It's almost like a copy and paste. So, again, it boils down to, how you collect, and process and, handle data, right? I'll cite one example. So, at my firm, earlier this year, we did a campaign, and we had to do like an SMS blast, and um, one of our SMS campaigns, one of our call center tools rather, got flagged. And the reason for that was because there was a small, tiny snippet of text, consent text, that we had not added to our opt-in forms. All of our opt-in forms. I mean, we were compliant with several other data collection components. We had opt-in forms, we had double opt-in, we had unsubscribe option in the emails, even in the text, in the SMS, we also had the opt-out option. But just because we did not specify a tiny little snippet of text in the opt-in form, and for the sake of clarity, that text, was about ensuring that people were aware that certain SMS may contain rates or may attract, data rates and charges, and we got flagged. So my admonition to marketers would be, don't just be excellent at the strategy, at the ideation, at the innovation, at the creative development, at the technicalities. Pay a lot of attention also to regulation and compliance, right? And then also, I remember you mentioned something about attribution for, was it search or geo?
No, for
You said
I think
something
it was
about
for search.
attribution,
Yeah, yeah, for search.
right?
Yeah, for search.
I think that we're entering into an advanced phase with um, earlier last year. Geo was a fresh buzzword. Generative engine optimization with OpenAI, ChatGPT, and the likes bringing up. Um, then you had people trying to really not even position for it, but trying to understand, what Geo was about, how it differed from SEO, and then how you could optimize your existing content or new content for AI indexing, right? But right now, a lot of third-party platforms are integrating GEO, not just into content indexing, but also towards attribution. So what I mean by that is, um, sometime last year, you probably only needed to track in your analytics, or in SEMrush, for example, or in across any other SEO tool. You probably only needed to track, how much traffic, how much sessions you were getting from AI overview impressions, which is like a geo proprietary, right? But right now, through certain advanced CRM platforms, you can actually track how much leads or how many leads and how many conversions. HubSpot, for example, in September, enabled for marketers to track through a lead source called AI referrals, right? You can now track how many leads or enrollments or whatever contacts, whatever nomenclature you have for your contacts, right? You can track, how much of that traffic is converting into leads or conversions or sales from AI conversations, right? So attribution, I think that going into next year, one of my predictions really is that attribution will be on an insane level, an insanely detailed level, and marketers will have to get in line with the programming, understanding not just at the basic level what attribution is, but really how to map every single key action, every single engagement back to the bottom line conversions. And with that, maybe this is like a doomsday, but with that advanced attribution ability, leadership is going to come down heavy on marketing for revenue, because now we can actually track almost every single campaign. So show me where the money is and show me how the campaign is resulting in. So everyone get prepared, but I wish everyone the best.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I mean, thank you. I was going to ask you to end on that note to give us what your prediction for next year is going to be like. I guess you already
I'm glad
can see where I was going
I'm glad
to.
I'm glad this is being recorded, so I can, even though I have to leave, but I can listen to Dami and
Sure.
Yashim's predictions much later. So
All
thank you
right.
so much,
Yes.
guys,
Thank
for
you very
having
much,
me.
Ronald. All
Thank
right.
you.
Now. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ronald. So, Yashim, I still have I have a question. I mean, I'm glad Ronald touched a bit on it, but I still feel that we need to we look at we need to look at it holistically, and that's around our platforms generally, right? The platform changes, right? Just to give a bit of context, right? Um TikTok shop and creator monetization restrictions affected the creator economy. Um, uh, Twitter has become more political and less brand safe. AI tools boosted productivity but also created low quality content overload. Now, the question is, in terms of going forward and having to handle this AI content boom, how do we ensure that you know that creativity is not lost, all right, and that creativity is not lost in terms of the kind of content that is being churned out, and ensuring that it's relevant across board.
Okay, hi. I'm back again. So I'm
Yeah.
going to answer your question, but it's going to be progressive, right?
Okay.
I'm going to start from the whole G, SEO and GEO thing that Ronald was talking about already.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to state something that I actually read yesterday.
Okay.
50% of the content on the internet today is AI generated.
Okay.
I I I was I was I was I want to use the word flabbergasted, but then I'll sound like my secondary school teachers. It,
Fair enough.
it was shocking to me. And now let me now tell you how very crazy it goes.
Mm.
Instagram, Google started. Now I'm going to a point. You know, Google started giving the Instagram search engine positions, right? They can now crawl your Instagram account and your pictures can go on Google search. So
Yeah.
you now I'm going to touch base on what Ronald was saying about attribution. To tell you how important Google is, and Google will always be, especially Google search would always be, is how that Meta themselves are using AI to rewrite everybody's content on Instagram when they are showing on Google search, just because Instagram wants to rank on Google.
Yeah.
So you might post a content today, and normally the way it's supposed to rank or the way it's supposed to show is that the keywords in your caption is what is meant to make your Instagram video or Instagram picture
The,
um rank. But now Instagram is telling you, don't worry,
will
my
be that
AI
comment.
my AI will help you. Not because I want to help you, but because me too, myself, I want more
I need
traffic
you.
from Google to come to Instagram. So now, what is the behavior that I'm going to spot out from that? Marketers are killing themselves to rank on AI. Marketers are killing themselves to GEO. I like words, I like buzzwords, I like all those things. But permit my French, it's fucked up. Because the reason why I'm saying that is because everybody is still looking to Google to rank.
Hmm.
Your your GEO would fetch its data from Google. Google, in fact, Google said, you know what? I'm launching AI mode for you guys so that oh yeah, should be AI, everybody. So now
Well,
people are
plugin.
now searching. People are searching on Google with AI mode. So
Mm-hmm.
if you're not ranking on Google, if you're not following Google's what's the word? Google's guidelines and the likes, you will not rank on GEO. So don't let anybody
Mm.
sell you techniques to rank on GEO.
You
Do the good work first.
this is good work.
Visibility will
Thank
come.
you.
Now,
Mm.
moving into you know, the platform shift. You see, one of the things now, this is I'm not going to put it as a trend, right? I am going to put it as a marketer behavior, right? In the sense that when when people could not send messages, when there was no email, people were craving ways to send messages to people, right? And then people found emails, and then there was emails, and then people were looking for instant messaging, and then they brought in Facebook, they brought in WhatsApp. Things evolved. Do you understand? Now people started writing blogs. I remember all those days. You sit down and write rubbish blogs. Nobody cares. You pack keywords. Then
Opera.
Google came.
Opera
Yeah,
news WordPress.
you get. So Google
Yeah.
came. Google started putting structures, and then people were looking for okay structured ways to do things. And then you see people were more concerned about their English, Grammarly, and the likes came in. Now, let me tell you let me put it as a trend. People will start looking for human writers very soon.
I agree.
If
I agree.
already, sorry,
Yeah.
let me land this
Okay.
point.
Yeah. Let me allow you finish.
If already people are already looking for, people are already saying that 50% of the content on the internet is AI. And the AI boom was, in fact, AI has not finished booming. AI has not finished booming. There was a presentation I did, and all the images on that presentation was AI, nano banana. So AI has not even boomed yet, too. But already, 50% of, and you see, AI would not put in your emotions. You know, there was something that trended on Twitter when Sheon Odegbami talked about how that when some writers that write emails leave some companies, you just know because there's this lady I wake up with, Victoria from TechPoint. If she leaves TechPoint tomorrow, I believe I will know because I am already so used to the way she writes that if AI wants to do it, he will tear his ACL. Do you understand? So people will start looking um for uh, human writers. I'm talking about platform changes so that I don't keep everybody. You see, we cannot, we, we cannot put a measure on AI changes, on platform changes. Just when I had TikTok banned Nigerian creators from going live at night, one thing you will know is that platforms do not care about you. Sorry about your feelings. Sorry about your 1 million followers. Sorry about whatever you have built on that space. But platforms will never ever care about you. Every platform will always want to protect themselves. And that is why marketing, going back to the fundamentals, there is owned platforms. Brands should build on their owned platforms. Every just like water in a tap. Tomorrow your neighbor can use the same the water and then your tank is dry. But if you put it into a bowl and you lock it, you know that anytime I need my water and I have my key, I can always fetch from it. I was about closing a very big deal on my Twitter, and then the next day I went on Twitter and I found out that I couldn't use the app again because they had blocked me. Now I hadn't given that guy my phone number or my email. That is where emails actually are very important. When you use um, um, other third party platforms to drive sales and everything, please, one of the things you should do is that you should, next year, please, I beg, invest in emails. Get an email marketer. Invest. Email is a platform that has always been there and has not died. No algorithm changes. If you have 1,000 people, once you send an email to those 1,000 people, it is those 1,000 people that are seeing it. So please. So what I would just say as regarding algorithm, platform changes is every brand should try as much as possible. It is not easy, but they should try as much as possible to have their own data. I had a client this year who was making over 2 million naira every week. No, even per day gone from cooking food. This woman was sending food to places like Lebanon, US. She'll cook liters of food and send to them. One morning she woke up and her Instagram that she had been using for years, over 9 years, was deleted. And I promise you, the woman's business almost came down crashing. So please, I think, and looking at Elon Musk and all these guys, tomorrow
Hmm.
they can wake up and bring in some kind of changes and everything is going. So please, my only advice and for that is people would be bringing up their own platforms. People will be creating things, and there's AI that now makes it easier for everybody. They'll capture attribution is going to be good now, like Ronald had said. But what are you going to do with all those people after? Are you going to leave them on other platforms just like that? No, you can't. So please, as much as possible, work on your own platforms. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you very much, Yashin. Very, very key. I mean, you did quite a lot of justice to that. But I mean, the conversation was still, bothered around the fact that, yes, I mean, thank you for chipping in the fact that, you need to build, on your own platform, and the fact that email marketing is here to stay, and will be good. But I like that Dami. I know Dami worked on TikTok accounts at some point. I mean, to also give like a bit of context as to, I mean, some of the rapid changes we're seeing on TikTok. I mean, like Yashin said, right? Tomorrow, I mean, they rolled out about 10 major changes this year on TikTok. I mean, that's like the most for a platform, in my own opinion, in a year that affects a certain community. And I don't think that it would stop because, again, they are going to drive their own, their own personal agenda, their own personal benefits, and will tweak from time to time to ensure that it serves their purpose. But Danny, please, the question is that can you just give us a bit of context? What do you think, visually, especially around TikTok? What do you think is like the way forward to ensure that there's that balance? And should there constant changes should it inspire fear, or should it make as marketing professionals we think how come up with your plans and strategies, especially for 2026?
Okay. So I'll start with saying, while I actually like worked there as an employee, not from an
Ooh.
agency, but I had like an agency background. So I understand like some inner workings of things. But first, like when we meet like clients, creators, or communities, there are like a couple of things we try to first demystify. So firstly is TikTok is for everyone. Like that was a very central message in that. And which is why you see the likes of different diverse set of people like Boss Auntie now. She's probably like 50 something and she has like audiences too. She relates with the whole world, both Gen Z, Gen Alpha, Millennial and all. But it's like for everyone, and this reflects also in the numbers. I'm not saying from a percentage base, it's still like youthful base, but there are tons of also millennials there and like the agents there. And this is reflected in the numbers in the sense that I think as of 2022, they hit the 1 billion mark. As of 2024, estimated were probably 1.5. And even in Nigeria this year, as at the last time I saw like media, like paid media reach, I think it was almost equaling Facebook. And this is Facebook that existed for like since like 2009, right? So it just shows you the power of that platform. And I say this authoritatively, like it is the most agile company I've ever worked on. And I think it's still the most agile social media company because it's founded like it's registered in like Singapore, but a major part of its methodologies are kind of like Chinese. And they run agile in terms of like product management and all these things. And I would say, even as an employee, one surprising thing was we also woke up to see different changes. It just shows you the chain of like ends, but those changes also reflect. And I don't know how most times they don't even break things on like Meta, where today you see the button has moved here and you're just searching. That occurred like for the past 2 years and it's just always confusing before people got about it. But I'll say you shouldn't be scared. I think you should probably be excited that okay, more things are coming and it is one of the most fast companies in terms of like iteration of additional products and also features that people want. They shut down what people don't want. They augment what people want. And I'd say one thing that made it different, that stand out, that made it even because YouTube Shorts had like a huge year this year, and that's because they were replicating efforts, philosophies, product workflows, and other things from TikTok, which Meta did. And one thing I salute to see, he knows how to copy. It might not be too innovative, but he knows how to copy and scale it. And which is what they said, like Reels and all. So one thing that differentiated it is TikTok is based on content graph. Other platforms are based on social graph. So social graph in the sense that personas. On Twitter, it started off as a non kind of thing, and it is community driven. So people express their words like in text, and it gives room for just experience of it, which is why it is highly community driven. And the next biggest platform like that is we have the likes of Discord, we have Telegram, but TikTok, Twitter is like a non, which was why when Zook tried to replicate Twitter through Threads and integrated it with Instagram, and they didn't disclaim in the sense that some people mistakenly clicked and it linked their accounts. I said it was going to fail. Why? Because they were merging two personas. Remember, I said social graph.
Yeah.
Twitter and Threads thrived on animosity. Instagram was built of family and friends. You get. So imagine trying to say, I want my family to see some things. I don't want them to see some things. I know the way Threads, the way it was designed, Twitter was designed for people to just add their thoughts, both wild and talk knowledge and all these things. Then Instagram, in the sense that you force people to link their friends and family into a place. You see why it is struggling to scale, and they kind of do it, picking up mostly from a brand and blogs perspective, which is why they are trying to integrate Threads back to like Instagram, where you are scrolling, you see Threads, and you don't want to sign up like the code boots in, like for IG, for Twitter, you have to follow people to start saying things. TikTok went the reverse way, where it is interest-based, content-based. Oh, you like philosophy, you like photography, you like art, you like dance. Okay, once you click that or you just watch that, they test you. Oh, you reacted a little to dance. Oh, you don't like it. You reacted more to weddings. They feed you that, which is why accounts that can be unknown or one follower can have 1 million views. That's because the feed content based on people's pain points, passion points, their interests, which is the best hack because we're psychological beings. You get this now. So TikTok led with the content graph strategy. Others led with the social graph and strategy when it comes to like code booting, and you get so, and which kind of like helped to like general. Now everybody's realizing that and they're falling in. But TikTok has had this, which is why they are leading in that short form space and all. So that's just the way it works. So when it comes to like products and innovation and all, I think it's one of the most organic places to bank on because you see organic ideas powered by creativity being shared to you in real time. But the only dangerous thing about it, but generally across social media, is you can now be radicalized in a form. And by radicalized, I'm just saying generic, where it is just feeding you your interest. You get what I'm saying? So you get, that's now where you as a person now have to limit or know how you consume stuff. Which is why you see people say, I saw this, God forbid. Then they now check all that things, just recalibrate the algorithm you get. So which is why if you check, just search ByteDance, TikTok, they once released a white paper just talking about the algorithm because they were like the fundamental, and there's an intention behind that. Because the thing is, if you want to expose or increase an industry, you have to make it open source, which is why open source is a good thing, and they're like advocates for that. But that's just the reason that, and all this I said are just public knowledge. I won't say what you get, but yeah, I think that's just it generally. I don't know if I answered your question because I need to go somewhere, but I'm happy to answer all that.
Oh, okay, all right, no problem. So before I proceed, I don't know if anyone has any question for Yashim and Dami before I ask. I just have two final questions so that we can round off this and ensure we talk to time. Does anyone have any question for Yashim and Dami? Okay, then let me just proceed then. So Yashim and Dami, I'd like to ask you guys two questions actually, just as a roundup, right? One is what are you betting on next year, right? And two will be that for you, Dami, one the first question is what are you betting on next year, and the rising cost in CPMs and metrics. What do you think would be the smartest way to stretch your budget? Which I know that yes, we would say that optimize for your needs, your brand, whatnot. I mean the regular prototyping, but how best do you think that will be like the smart way to stretch your budget and optimize it come next year? And what are you betting on next year?
Okay, just to start with that, I think one last thing I forgot to mention. This year was like an incredible year for YouTube in terms of like Nollywood consumption. So I'll say in terms of marketing,
True.
experiential, and integration, people should look out for that. See how you can partner in terms of product placements and just other things. And because they give long form content, those are like good places to place ads, like YouTube ads, because the longer form, the more you can like it shows more. But if it's like short form, you can't really, and it just increases your CPM, but with less returns you get. So I'll say I'll bank on generally. For me, I bank more on philosophies than just products or ideas or persons or something, because all those will come and go. But philosophies will always. So I think for me, we're in that age where hyper personification is key. The more you can customize experience to the individuals. Yeah, anybody that can hack that, whether you're using AI or manual or something, like the more, like let's say you are seeing an ad, which is what programmatic banners, those are some innovations where, okay, it's only people that it is suited for, but it is now hyper focused ones where what happens, let's say an instance where I go on, let's say Ireland or something, and an ad targets me and say, damn me, you get, and you also communicate it in a way where I don't feel like, oh, my data has been lost or something. So I know there are guidelines around that, but you can navigate both privacy, but general hyper focusing, and which also helps in like in-store marketing where people are trying to like using AR filters where it customizes, or AI-driven powered filters where it is more costumed to who you are, not just a general hi stranger or something. Once you can personalize that would be like the future of things. Then AI is something that would always come and evolve. So I think that's something that, yeah, and just like Yashim said, you just have to like optimize based on your target audience, own your IPs. Even email is for Gmail, funny enough, like most like you get. So you just have to find a way of hosting yours or finding yours, have a backup of a backup. But I think generally we're in the AI phase, and anybody, but the ultimate one now is anybody, if you can leverage AI and agentic AI, there'll be a time where now it's like battle of attentions, ad spends, and all. So how do you use AI where it gives like an advisor role, or you can integrate it? But this is personal effort because third parties want to do that because it's like exploiting their systems. How do you automate a system or develop an AI tool that will be making decisions for you? So let it be algorithm for algorithm. They want you to spend more than you to be trying to. So if you can do that, trust me, that person will have. And you know the way people brought about software engineering or like just general mathematics and all to like the hedge fund industry and all. You know, before it was just manual based on all these quant experts, but now there's AI and there, so you can't be using your Celeron or like 4 gig RAM and so, and say you're competing with people that are using like things that like AI complex systems that are underground cooling, and they are using like tons of gigabytes and gigahertz. You get, so it's a battle of AI for AI, algorithm for algorithm. So anybody that can hack agentic tools to make decisions for them in real time, that would be the ultra winner of anything marketing, anything customization and all. But sadly, data will always be an issue. So how you work around that, and a law which on the rise to next year is data and also scam, because you know people now can use your voice, use your face and all these things. So with pros come cons. But in the end, own your IP, hyper personalization and agentic AI. With that, you can do miracles. So yeah, that's it from my end. It was a pleasure
All
doing
right.
this.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much, Danny. And Yashin.
Uh,
All right.
so I I wish I was close to Dami so that I can give him a knock on his head because
Right?
that's exactly that was he literally exactly said what I wanted to say. He took the words from my mouth. Like I literally wrote that same thing down. It's and it's so frustrating because I thought I wanted to sound smart.
Well, but even at that, yeah. While I know that, yes, you're going to say that. One more thing, I think one thing I left out, and I wanted you to touch on is, in terms of email marketing. I like that, give us some bit of insight, and what can we utilize going forward, most especially, in next year. I mean, since you mentioned the fact that it's important that we include it as part of our strategy, right? So how do we ensure that we make the best use? What are things that we need to look out for? What are things that needs to be improved? All right. So I like that you just
Okay,
touched base
so
on that.
okay, that's not a
Okay.
problem. Well, I mean, sorry, I'm on the road, so I had to leave the house again. But I wanted to say something after Dami had spoken on that.
Okay.
So I'll just say uh, the short form video commerce, shoppable content, right? So I mean, we know that TikTok Shop has launched. You know that there's Instagram Shop and everything. So I mean, now people people would not be. You should brands who are able to mix entertainment, right, and shopping together are actually going to win on what's the word, on socials now because they are going to actually make money, and it's one of the things I'm trying to even get for some of our clients where they can people can easily buy stuff from the play from just enjoying content. So for example, I bought a Manchester United jersey from Instagram, just from an Instagram shop, just because I saw Bruno Fernandes score a goal. Um, there's an opportunity there for people to. But now let's talk about email. Now in 2026, um, people are going to be chasing a lot of short form videos stuff. So email is going to be like the premium channel. And the reason why is that there's already algorithm fatigue. People are already killing themselves on the feeds, and so that email is email is the channel that people choose. Like they, they, to check your email takes dedication. So anything that you are going to send to somebody in an email has to be worth the person's time. And so that is where AI powered. So remember, Dami talked about personalizations, AI powered personalizations and the likes. Now that is where your AI powered sense time and content optimization, right, actually comes in. So this is what I'm talking about. You know how when you're sending an email, you just do send at optimal time, and then it goes as
And then
well,
we wait.
and then you wait. Mhm. But what I'm talking about is that people now need to integrate AI to analyze like different individual subscriber to you need to understand their behaviors so that you can predict what kind of specific content variant will convert um, the different people at the different times that you're going to meet them. Now we're also talking
That's
about
just
dynamic email where every different person gets a different version of email based on their journey, their behavior patterns, and also some predicted intent. Do you understand? So one of the things I'm working on for some e-commerce brands is this, trying to integrate some AI tools that even when somebody wants to churn, right? So I tested one. I'm still testing the tool, so I can't recommend it. it's happening that when somebody wants to, like when they feel like somebody might unsubscribe in the next 1 month, I can create an intervention trigger
Mm.
that will make sure that before the person clicks the unsubscribe button, they must have sent him some emails. Do you understand? Just to make
Mm.
sure that the person actually converts and stays with your
Com-
email so that the person doesn't go. So brands that use AI to make every email feel like they are personal, yeah, I believe that they are going to see a whole lot of engagement lifts, right, over their different basic segmentations. Now the way people are segmenting, people just segment, oh, based on the people who clicked in the last 30 days, based on the people who clicked in the last 40 days, based on the people who clicked. But
mm.
now just basic segmentations like male or female, or somebody who bought trousers, or somebody who bought shirts, right? Those
Yeah.
things together with AI, it would now be easier for you to now say this is what would make this person buy. And then even if I want to send a Black Friday email to my people, right? That
Mm.
Black Friday email would have deals that are for you. So what you are buying on Jumia is different from what me I'm buying on Jumia. So
Mm. So,
Jumia should not be sending us the same emails.
emails. So, yeah.
So
Okay.
that is
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry to interject, Yashim. So, someone has a question, saying that needs you to shed more light on the trigger. I guess he's talking about the tool you're using to be able to determine when a user is about to, a subscriber rather, is about to unsubscribe. So he's saying you should shed a bit more light on that trigger.
Okay. Like I said, yeah, it's it's still in test mode, by the way, and it's one of the things I want to actually launch in 2026. Um, it's currently I and my engineers that are working on that. So it's
Awesome.
one of the things you would be seeing. But one of the things I am going to just say is that it uses your data, right? So now I realize that different people like MailChimp and the likes, right? There are a whole lot of data that they don't show us marketers.
Mm.
So when I realized that our phones uses infrared to actually track our eye movement on our phones, so that all these apps like Facebook and the likes, they know how your eye movement moves, and then they can now place ads on some specific parts of your screen when
Screen.
you are actually watching a movie or seeing a static image. And it was just brilliant to me because I'm like, wow, so these people knows these things and then we don't even know.
We don't.
And then when I
Okay.
got digging, I found out that especially for some e-commerce stuff, they know how well people. So they know some people who read your emails to like 50%, who read your emails to like 20%, people who actually see your emails but do not open your emails.
Interesting.
All those little data. So what we are doing is that we're working on a kind of system that would use all those data together to now create different triggers. Now, if somebody has not opened your email in the last, let's say, 30 days, right? There's no trigger that you want to do that will bring that person back.
True. True. There's
There-
nothing. You don't have
There's
any
no
harmful
trigger you want to
repercussions.
do. The
Yeah.
person is not even opening your mail. He's not even interacting with you. So how do you want to reach him?
I don't think. Yeah. True. True that.
So this is for people who are. So there are some people like me. You, if there was, for example, if there was that tool for brands like Jumia and the likes, Jumia will realize that. a customer like me would not shop for stuff on Jumia in the middle of the year. I'm
Mhm.
always going back to Jumia during the festive seasons. So now, this AI that we are building will look at the different times I always interact with my emails. If you look at your own behavior too, there are some. If you look at some of your brands that you buy from, there are sometimes you open their emails. There are sometimes you will never open it.
You know, open their emails, yeah.
So
True,
what we are
true
just
that.
doing now is that the the marketer, the person behind, yeah, we're giving you a kind of expo into the sense that when you when it is getting to some specific time when some audience are going to be cold and some audience are going to be warm, we will give you that trigger to say, oh, this person you can send this person is only interested in seasonal shoppings. So you can now create an audience for seasonal shopping. This person has not shopped with you for the past 30 days, even if we have entered two seasonal shopping periods. This person is about to go off.
Mm,
Then it will now give you the type of emails that you can send to that person, and
perfect.
then um, if you do it, we will now see the results. So as you can see, it's still experimental, but yeah, that's what we have right now.
All right, Yashim, thank you very much. I mean, we'll keep an eye out for when that is ready so that we can, as a community, benefit from that. And then, most importantly, you can use us as test use cases. I mean, since we have very good ideas, we can give you very harmful feedback. So just in case, you can just let us join your the test flight. But yeah, thank you very much, Yashim. Glad to have you share
Pleasure.
a wealth of knowledge and resource with us and your time, most especially. So thank you very much. We will need to end now, and I want to thank everyone who has taken their time out to join this session. It was good to have everyone joining, and look forward to having these sessions. We would have quite a number of these next year. More roundtable discussions and even tailored focused. I mean, I look forward to having you, Yashin, back. Just to look and delve deeper into email marketing. I have Ronald back for SEO, and then Dami for socials. But I know that next year we're gonna have a lot more of this. So I want to thank everyone for joining once more. Do enjoy the rest of your evening, and I guess it's in line to say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. Cheers, everyone.